I've said it before and I'll say it again. We need to pass, to begin with, an economic stimulus package that will help people cope with rising food and gas prices, save 1 million jobs by rebuilding our schools and our roads, help states and cities avoid budget cuts and tax increases, a plan that would extend expiring unemployment benefits for those Americans who've lost their jobs and can't find new ones. And beyond this stimulus package, we need an economic agenda to restore opportunity for Americans and prosperity to America, so that we're not borrowing debt from China to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, so that the jobs of the future don't go to the better educated worker in India and the cars of the future aren't made in Japan, so that we can have a legacy of greater opportunity for our children and our grandchildren. That's how we'll emerge from this crisis stronger and more prosperous than we were before. That's what I intend to do when I'm president. I'm going to begin, let me lay this out, because I want everybody to know the differences between myself and Senator McCain on this campaign. I will begin by reforming our tax code so that it doesn't reward the lobbyists who wrote it, but the American workers and small businesses who deserve it. I know you've been seeing some of these ads from the other side saying, oh, Obama's going to raise taxes. They're not true. I will eliminate capital gains taxes for small businesses and startups so that we can grow our economy and create high-wage, high-tech jobs for tomorrow. I will cut taxes, listen, cut taxes, Crosse, for 95% of all workers and their families. If you make less than $250,000 a year, let me see a show of hands. How many making less than $250,000 a year? All right. If you make less than $250,000 a year, you will not see your taxes increase one single dime. Because in an economy like this, the last thing we should do is raise taxes on the middle class. I will reform our health care system to relieve families and businesses and the entire economy from the crushing costs of health care. We're going to invest in new technology. We're going to emphasize preventive care so people aren't going to the emergency room for treatable illnesses. If you have health care, my plan will lower your premiums. If you don't have health care, you'll be able to get the same kind of health care that members of Congress give themselves. And I will stop insurance companies from discriminating against those who are sick and need care the most, because I know what it's like to watch a loved one suffer. Not just because of a broken healthcare system, but because, not just because they were sick, but because of a broken healthcare system. My mother died of cancer when she was 53 years old. And I remember her being on her hospital bed, arguing with the insurance companies, because they were saying, well, maybe there's a pre-existing condition. Maybe we don't have to pay for your treatment. I've seen that happen in my own life, in my own family. It is wrong. And so we are going to tell the insurance companies, do what's right by your customers, people who've paid their premiums, pay their claims, act the way you're supposed to act. We are going to make that happen when I'm president. So I'm going to make sure that we not only stop insurance companies, but we're also going to negotiate with the drug companies for the cheapest available price on drugs. Because we can't have a situation in which senior citizens are having to choose between medicine and the rent because a few lobbyists in Washington were able to make sure that the drug companies were making billions of dollars of profits that they don't deserve. That is going to change when I'm president of the United States of America. We're going to make sure that we have an energy plan that finally makes sense for America. And I listened to the Republicans talking about drill, baby, drill. Now listen. Listen, I believe that we have to make sure that we have increased domestic oil production. But understand this, we are not going to be able to by ourselves simply drill our way out of the problem. We use 25% of the world's oil, and we only have 3% of the world's oil reserves. So we're going to tap our natural gas reserves. We're going to invest in clean coal, find ways to safely harness nuclear power. We can do those things, but we also have to understand that this economy needs to become more efficient. And so I'm going to help our auto companies retool so that the fuel-efficient cars of the future are built not in Japan, not in South Korea, but right here in the United States of America. I'm going to make it easier for Americans to afford these new cars. And I'm going to invest $15 billion a year over the next decade in affordable, renewable sources of energy. Wind power, solar power, geothermal, biodiesel, the next generation of biofuels. We can create 5 million new jobs that pay well and can't be outsourced. Those old factories we can open up, making wind turbines or solar panels. Those farms that are having a tough time, they can start growing switchgrass to create the next generation of cellulosic ethanol. We can rebuild our electricity grid, put people back to work right now, rebuilding our infrastructure so that we can get the energy that's generated from windmills and solar panels to the population centers that need them. We can create jobs. We can free ourselves of dependence from Middle Eastern oil in 10 years. And in the process, we can stop global warming. That is the great mission of this generation. And I'm going to make it happen when I'm President of the United States of America. And if I'm president, you know, I'm superstitious, so if I'm president, I will meet our moral obligation to provide every child a world-class education from the day they are born to the day they graduate from college. Because it will take nothing less to compete in the global economy. I'll invest in early childhood education to close the achievement gap. I'll recruit an army of new teachers. We're going to pay them higher salaries. We're going to give them more support. In exchange, I will ask for the highest standards, the greatest accountability, but I'm also going to make sure our teachers are not teaching to the test, because I want our young people to learn art and music along with math and reading and science.